There it is, people. You heard it. You saw it. The question of the day is couples therapy really, really worth it? Now, before anyone bites my head off, again, as a licensed therapist, I'm not saying couples therapy is useless or not productive. In this video, my goals are to show the other side of things in couples therapy where it might not be beneficial, where a couple might face barriers or issues in their therapeutic goals. So again, I want to just shine the light on certain things about relationship issues and dynamics, and I feel like this video does a great job at portraying that, as well as my commentary and whatnot. So yes, I'm an LPCC LADC, so my primary expertise is not couples therapy, even though I do have experience in couples therapy. Not a lot, mind you. I do not. I'm more of a individual or group therapy type of guy in a sense. Trauma work, addiction, but like I said, I do have some perspective on couples therapy and what I learned through grad school. But yeah, there's another live professional on the video that we're going to be reacting to, based on most couples therapy, again, is useless. That is their strong point of view. So I'm not agreeing or disagreeing, but I will be giving my reaction. And just a couple of things right off the bat. They might get into this in the video, but some of the things that I've heard of couples therapy not working, is sometimes the married couple or any type of couple will wait just too long to get help, where they were in, let's say, a toxic relationship or marriage for multiple years before they try to do something to fix it. A lot of the times one person is already out the door in the relationship, or they want to get a divorce, or they've been wanting to get a divorce for a couple years now and whatnot. And so just the dynamics are really, really off. Or a lot of the times too, the couple will try to pull the therapist in their arguments, and they won't be really looking to improve upon their relationship, but in a way look at someone just to vent. So it's kind of like triangulation, and I'll get into that maybe in like another video of triangulation, how toxic relationships like to pull a third in to again mitigate the issues they have going on with themselves. So, anyways, that's just an example, but let's get the video started, and I will give my feedback throughout the video, and let's get this started.
Most couples therapy is useless, not because the therapy is wrong, but because most couples don't go to therapy together until one of them is absolutely not wanting to work on the relationship anymore. They're using therapy as an excuse to air their frustration one last time.
So, like I said, just venting to the therapist, or maybe one would say complaining about issues they've been going through for many years. It's like a negative cycle that they both have partake or participate in. So again, they're just reinventing in the way of the trauma. But I would love to hear what this gentleman says.
So many times I've had couples come in, and that's exactly what it is one is all in for it and is convinced I'm going to fix their partner and tell them that they've been right all along, and the other partner comes in dreading it because their partner's the one who set it up, and they say, what sort of buzzsaw am I walking into? And it is a miserable experience for all three people involved, unless I can turn them around and convince the other partner that I'm there to help them, in which case the first partner is convinced that I've somehow pulled a switcheroo, and they are now going to get betrayed by their coach now who's working with them. It's an ugly process. It is really ugly. The only time couples therapy really works is when they're coming in because they both want to make it work, but they don't have the skills and they have no idea what to do.
So they need to have the desire to work on each other or work on themselves. He made a phenomenal point where this actually happens a lot, where they'll come in and yes, like you said, there'll be one partner who thinks they have no issues and it's always the other partner's fault. And that it's kind of like you're sending a client to the therapist like a robot or broken parts, like, hey, fix them, which that's not how it works. Couples therapy has a lot of accountability in there or in the sessions, and like without accountability, we do not get anywhere. So it's not just one person's fault. It's like a unit or it's a team, and whatnot, all working together. And unfortunately, a lot of couples or individuals do not see it that way.
Both want to make it work. It's an amazing experience. If one of them doesn't want to work and doesn't have the guts to say it, it's a horrible experience for both people.
Why is it so rare for couples to go to couples therapy? before the stage that one of them is basically ready to call it quits and needs an arbiter between the two of them?
Because most people do not have the skills they need to speak to their partner proactively and productively about the problems. So they just pretend there aren't problems, or they throw anger and excuses at each other over and over and over again. One will try, the other withdraws, then they switch, and the other tries again, and the other withdraws. And they only vent to the people around them. They don't actually go out and get proactive solutions from the people around them.
Excellent viewpoint. I like this guy's mindset where it's at. Yeah, like I said, they get into these cycles where they maybe see red flags but don't do anything about it, or they have arguments but they never necessarily solve the argument or apologize or reconcile with the other partner. But so they'll sometimes, like to say, get into a verbal argument and walk away, but really never come back to the partner and try to work out the issue. It gets swept underneath the rug. So a lot of times when I'm in couples therapy, I try to get the couples to be self-aware of their behaviors and what's going on and how negative it is to, again, not solve the issue but just pretend like it doesn't exist. Or we all know the term time heals all, so let's just try to get through it, and if enough time pass it'll all be better, which that's not the case. It rarely ever does get better.
And their family systems are usually broken, so they've never seen a healthy relationship. They think this is as good as it gets. They only seek professional help when one of them panics because the other one has made a change.
And I love the fact that he said mirroring relationships, because a lot of the people, they tend to, not everyone, but they reenact their parents' relationship. So again, when we grow up, who are the first people that we see when it comes to a relationship? It's usually your parents or your main caregivers. And as you're a child growing up and you see things and you learn things, and you tend to mirror the behaviors that you see with your parents. And if they have a toxic, abusive relationship, it just, again, increases the chances of you not having a healthy relationship with another person. Not all the ways, but it does increase the chance, because again, that's what you learn and see. And like you said, you kind of think in your head, oh, this is what a normal relationship looks like, so you just have to deal with it. When in reality, no, you do not have to deal with it. It can be better.
I'll also say this. Women
I shouldn't say can be better. You could try to make it better, but also sometimes it's just best for you to leave, divorce, and so forth. So, and I can get into that in another video as well. But yeah,
change for relationships typically. Men only will change for circumstances, which is reality. Women will usually be done with a relationship a year or more before they're actually ready to get divorced. Men have no idea that this is coming. Men get blindsided and they say, wait, I'm finally willing to give it a try. Let's try couples therapy. And she's been done for a year. So this is a very common problem right there.
yeah, I don't know too much about the men's behaviors, women's behaviors. Again, I haven't been licensed long enough, and I haven't been doing couples therapy long enough to really have a viewpoint on men and women. But yeah, like you said, usually one person is out of the relationship long before the other person, so there's no communication or trying to like solve it. And yeah, it just really ends up being miserable because one person's already out, so they might be just going to therapy just to like try to make the other person happy, or maybe heal their guilty conscience of like, well, at least I tried, I was there. But it's like, no, you didn't really try. In a way, like being there is not enough. You have to be there mentally, physically, and if you're religious, in a way, like spiritually in the room doing the work. And if you're not, then nothing good's going to happen from it.
Do you think that explains part of the reason that most divorces are initiated by women?
Absolutely. At 100%. Because most women have spent 5, 10, 20 years changing for the relationship, hoping that her husband will secretly somehow change for the relationship too. Men only change when they observe a problem and then when they believe that there is a solvable problem there that they can actually work on. It takes both of those things for a man to actually work.
Like I said, I'm not saying I don't respect this guy. He's just, again, former psychotherapist. I'm sure he's very knowledgeable. He probably knows a lot more about family therapy and couples therapy than I do. He's using a lot of all or nones for my taste. A little bit more, just too many all or nones. Men are like this, women are like this. I tend to stay away from that. But yes, have I heard from pop culture or just people around me in the sense of like, do women initiate divorce more? Sure, I've heard that. I don't know the actual research. I can't say for 100% it's true or not. It just, like I said, he's a little too all or none. But again, like you said, he's a former psychotherapist, which it must feel great to really just express your feelings and how you really want to, in the sense of like he's not worrying about his license. But yeah, I just try to stay away from the all or none or men are like this, women are like this. It just tends never to be a good thing in my experience.
Because something. Most men will only change enough to try to stop the discomfort that they're experiencing and try to go backward.
Yeah, it's I have a number of friends that have either been through couples counseling or are going to couples counseling at the moment, and I would say that the archetype is as you've described, that it really is. If this counseling was to make the relationship better, it is a severe uphill battle, which I imagine from a therapist's perspective makes couples counseling not exactly fun.
So I went through school, graduate program, 6 years for a master's degree, and then an additional 3 years of apprenticeship, of hard apprenticeship under clinicians. So it's 9-year process to become a married.
Yeah. Oh my God. I don't know what it's like in other states. So, like I said earlier, I went the LPCC route, and then I'm an LADC too. So it took me 3 years in graduate school to obviously graduate with both mental health and substance abuse. So to put it like he said, if you went to school all the way through, no issues. That's why I'm not going to use myself as an example because I switch my majors a lot. But go with what he's saying. Hypothetically, yeah, you do 4 years as undergrad and 3 years in graduate school, and then another 2 additional years if you can find a supervisor right away to supervise your postgraduate school hours in order for you to get licensed, and that's including passing the national exam. The LMFT students, oh my gosh, like I feel so bad for them because their coursework when it comes to like internship hours is so rigorous. It's a lot more rigorous than ours because not only couples therapy, but they have to have a certain amount of family hours too, like marriage and family hours, couples therapy. And again, I don't know the exact numbers, but from my colleagues, are just talking to them, it's just difficult to really find those hours just because not all the facilities have couples or families at the same time. And just from the other stories I've heard too, the supervisors are way more on them. Like they're like almost supervising their actual therapy. Like I heard in a lot of cases, the professors are or the internship directors or supervisors are behind class doors, are watching the student do therapy. I've never had that experience. I'm not saying it doesn't happen for LPCCs like myself, but yeah, I guess long story short, LMFT students go through a lot, and like you said, the training is rigorous. So I feel for them. I envy their knowledge too, though. I really envy their knowledge.
And family therapists at 9 years of training of them telling us you will get burned out on this job. Couples therapy is hard.
Yep.
Couples don't actually usually get better. Very few of them do.
And another point, I know I'm stopping a lot. Again, doing families therapy or family therapy, couples therapy increases the chance of countertransference. It's the most likely a therapist will go through countertransference. And long story short, it's like our internal feelings and how we might have gotten triggered by a client due to our past and our past behaviors and our belief system, which can greatly affect the therapeutic process. So I can only imagine when you're adding more people to the equation, it increases the chance of countertransference for the therapist. So
It's hard work, and you have to completely detach from their outcomes
yes,
because otherwise you will drive yourself crazy watching one couple after another tear themselves apart. There's nothing you can do to help them. This is the message that they gave us, and it was very true. You come in, you do the best that you can,
Yep.
and you guide them forward. And usually, the biggest piece that I would do is this: is get them to a point where they can say, "What got you together in the first place? Where do you have any commonalities? And where is there even a sliver of hope that both of you could work together on this? If there's even a tiny shred of hope, we can make this work."
Very beautifully said. I love that he said that. So me as a beginner, I'll call myself a beginner couples therapist. What I do in my lack of knowledge, I try to set up ground rules and structure the best that I can. So whenever I start family therapy or couples therapy, I kind of let them know the ground rules of my expectations of them and us working together in the sense of keep it basic. Let's try not to yell, scream. Let's try not to swear or put each other down, name calling. And when we're just communicating, don't talk while the other person's talking. Just try to stop and listen and try to practice your active listening skills. Then you can speak when they're done. So I just try to keep it really basic with those skills and then work off of that. But yeah, it's beautiful, like you said too. It's just like figuring out what the main issues are and what they agree on and what's the common goal. So I think he put it great. Then also give them encouragement on what they're doing well, what they've improved upon, and sometimes the goals might be different. So that's something to talk about. And also making them aware of how their partner feels when they do this or when they do that and whatnot. So yeah, great stuff that I'm hearing from this guy so far.
Really briefly, one time I had a couple come in to my coaching practice. They both had very, very bad attachment, very bad attachment. Neither one of them knew it. One of them was having an affair. The other one wanted the relationship to work. The one who was having an affair wasn't sure if they wanted it to work or not. I educated them on attachment. First session, educated fully on attachment. Second session, got them working on bonding together and doing what couples are supposed to do. Third session, taught them communication skills and conflict resolution. By the fourth session, when they walked in, both of them were happier in their relationship than they had ever been, even as newlyweds, even as whether they're dating. The person who was cheating said, absolutely not. I'm going to do this marriage. It's amazing. They had healed their attachment together and they were now growing closer to their friends and their family at the same time.
Beautiful
It only
story.
took 3 sessions of doing the deep work because both of them were committed to it. If a couple wants to make it work, even extreme circumstances can work, but you must both want to make it work.
How does a pair of people who have got ingrained responses, habituated thought patterns, routines built into their communication style, the way they relate to each other, the way that they show up to each other, how can it be the case that 3 sessions is all that it takes to deprogram something which, at the very least, we're taught should take 66 days to break and make a new habit?
Well, well, you can't really use habits into therapy. I get what he's saying, but you can't apply that to therapy. It's not realistic. I am very impressed. I don't know if impressed is the word, but that is a very amount of. I'm sorry, that's a short amount of sessions for the improvement that he's talking about. Again, I'm not saying it didn't happen. Especially from infidelity in the marriage and you're cheating, because there's so much anger that can come from that, and anger, lack of trust. I think it's great though that he got into attachment styles, communication styles, really feeling the hurt and pain, but empathizing with the other person. Yeah, just from hearing that story, wow, he made a tremendous amount of progress in that. So
It's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. It's curious because here's the piece is so many people are living with a decision they made when they were 1 year old that said, I am scared. I am hurt. I am sad. I feel vulnerable. People will abandon me or people will betray me. There's something wrong with me or with other people, and I am not ever going to be able to be open again because I will never be this hurt, this scared, this vulnerable ever again for the rest of my life. They don't even remember this decision. But that foundational belief has been set into their brain as an absolute fact of the universe. Gravity pulls things down, water is wet, and love is impossible, and I must live in fear for the rest of my life to stay safe. That foundational belief, once you hear it and say, oh, I have been believing that, but it's probably true. And someone comes in, an attachment expert comes in and says, it is not true. Here's an alternate model for living that is possible. I want you to think about it over the next week and tell me if it's ruining your life or if this is something that we can fix. And they'll think about it and it ruins it for them. And then they start seeing the matrix and they say, wow, maybe there is 2 different ways to live. And maybe I've been living the wrong way. Maybe I'm willing to learn. And then they learn it. Once you got it intellectually, cool. Once you experience it, that's where it begins to change. Because when you experience the difference, your brain chemistry balances out, right? I deal with the 5 big brain chemicals. There's more than this, but the 5 big ones we look at: vasopressin, oxytocin, GABA, gamma aminobutyric acid, and serotonin. Those 4 are absolutely crucial to get through your good relationships. If you don't have good,
yeah, so I'll end it right there. But yeah, obviously the chemicals in the brain, healing attachment. So yeah, I'm not going to get into all of them, but obviously there's the secure attachment, insecure attachment, avoidant attachment style, and yeah, like I said, when you mirror your parents growing up as a child, your brain is greatly affected by the trauma or what you see, and attachment like has a lot to do with how we bond with other people and relationships. So yeah, he brought up a lot of great points. Yeah, I really enjoyed this video. I liked what this gentleman had to say. especially bring up really important stuff. And yeah, those are very important things to consider. So, like I said, again, I am not saying couples therapy is a bad idea, doesn't work, but again, you need to look at the factors and what could be potential significant barriers and how to overcome them if they do happen. So I think this is very educational and uh, yeah, I thought it was a great video. So as I wrap things up, I'll probably be doing some more videos. But again, in the future, let me know what topics you want me to get into when it comes to actual psychology, therapeutic interventions, trauma, PTSD, or definitely the career side of things, because I want this live to be about people in the mental health addiction field as well as the average person wanting to learn more about mental health and whatnot in general. So thank you, everyone. Please follow my live. Let me know if you have any questions or leave comments down below. And please shoot me a follow and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. And be well.